moon-stricken, animal in need, bad seed, untamable.
Just quickly, this video, I've just taken basically the state of the game, and which was about an hour and a half long, and I just chopped it up for you. That way you don't have to waste an hour and a half watching the state of the game. I basically took all the juicy stuff and just packed it together. That way you can just quickly watch it and save time. SkyScrapper, which is actually called the Summit, new guns, new skills, new talent, coming up right here. Like and subscribe. And yeah, this is my first video I ever edited, so I hope it's not too bad. Take it easy.
We've said for TU11, which we have coming up very soon. So we've talked about it before, the new game mode, and Mackenzie has told us it is called the Summit. Season 3 is on the way with TU11, new gear, and again, we are aware that that image is an image of the Regulus. We're going to go over some of that new gear today. Appearance mods, we talked about last week. Rainbow loot improvements, we talked about last week with Nikki, and there's been some small changes to the plans for that as well. And the agnostic mods that we talked about last week with Nikki. Okay. Now, let's jump straight into the big heavy hitter and the reason why a lot of people are here today, and that is the new PvE game mode with the Summit. I love having pretty art to show, so this is a nice thing to have on the stream. Mackenzie, can you give us a bit of a rundown of what the intention is from a game designer perspective for the Summit?
Yes, of course. Yeah, so with the Summit, we wanted to build a new game mode for the division that's really focused on PvE replayability. And so our goal was to create something that's easy to jump in, it's action-packed, and it's going to feel like a fresh experience each time you hop in. And to really do that, we've thought of it kind of as the greatest hits of the PvE experiences that you've already had in the division. And so it's like, you know, you have all the factions in it, you have these environments that can change floor to floor. We have objectives that you've kind of seen before and some fresh new ones that are, so it should always be an exciting kind of experience that you don't know what you're going to get on the floor, that you'll get to floor 50, and this time it might be cleaners and it might be a rescue the hostage objective, but the next time that you play floor 50, it might be something else, and it might be the Rikers, and you might need to destroy some servers to disable some hacked big dogs. And so it's always going to be something fresh and new and hopefully exciting on that floor. And so, you know, it's something that when you want to hop on the division and play with your friends at night, it's just super easy to hop into SkyScrapper and know that you're going to get that nice new experience each time.
Cool. Can we just clarify a little bit? Because I know we had this similar discussion when we launched with Underground back in Division 1, and there was a little bit of confusion around randomized and procedural and that sort of thing. So there's there are floors that are preset geometrically with random spawns on them, and then you'll get a different...
Yeah, so there are like dozens of floor sections with like a predefined look and layout. And then when we go to this certain floor, we choose one of those. Okay. And we also choose one of a random set of factions for that floor. And if it's got directives on it, we choose a set of random directives for that as well. And so it's all predefined, but the way that you'll get it is random. And so it'll, you know, yeah.
Okay. While we talk about it a little bit further and we have some questions, I want to give a bit of a look to the audience of what it actually looks like, because Ella, George, and I had a chance to play through it recently on a test, and you'll see us approaching what is the elevator. Can you talk us through what this experience is and how it works going into the Summit for the first time? Or the second time, or the third time?
Yeah, so the first time that you come in, you'll see this menu, and you'll only be able to go to floor number 1. And so the first time that you summit, you need to move your way up floor by floor. And then once you've completed floor 10, because the 10th floors are boss levels. So floor 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and so on are each boss levels. And once you've beaten a boss level, you unlock the rally point for the floor after that. So you can see on this, which is paused that there's floor 11, 21, 31, etc. So you've beaten the 10th floor boss, you will be able to, on any time you replay the skyscraper, just immediately go to floor 11. And so I know people who want, challenging content, that they'll be oftentimes just fast traveling to 21 or 31. For those who want heroic, they'll be going to maybe 61 all the time. And if you're a legendary fan, you'll be going to 81.
Nice.
And
so a lot of legendary content. That's really cool.
yes, and it's dynamic, so it shall be interesting because the strongholds, we predefined the spawns for those, whereas this is going to be a fresh experience each time for legendary players. So yeah, it's going to be pretty challenging. We've actually reduced the number of directives for the top 2 floor segments there to 3. Based off feedback we got from the ETF this past weekend, actually.
Okay, so this, I assume, is the reward for the manhunt?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. This is actually a pretty exciting skill because this one I worked pretty closely on, so it's kind of like my new baby. It does a lot of things and borrows from a lot of different skills. Which might sound odd, but what we wanted to do with the shrapnel trap was not make something so obviously defensive in nature, or we actually wanted to play a little bit with duality. So it's both a defensive tool that you can throw like the other traps and then have it deploy. And when it deploys, it creates a minefield of smaller shrapnel mines, basically. So it's an area denial tool. But if you quick deploy it, it's more of a quick response, point blank area of effect cone nuke, because anything that's within the area of the trap's deployment field gets right. Mind, when you throw the shrapnel trap, you're lobbing the big ball, and then the ball lands, and then it pops up into the air like a bouncing Betty mine, and then it explodes and spreads a bunch of smaller mines in the area. But they have sticky bomb behavior. So, anything that's within that area of effect will get stuck by the mine. So it's not just, you have to step on a mine, or NPCs can only be damaged if they enter, the minefield. They can also be damaged if they're within the initial deployment area. And that's obviously the case if you quick deploy it, right? So I don't know if you have any gameplay footage of it in action.
I do not,
By any
unfortunately.
chance? Do not?
But we'll have to save that for an upcoming stream. Is it on the PTS, I wonder?
Yes, it'll be. So there will be a vendor. I'm not sure which one, but Nikki set it up so that you'll be able to purchase the shrapnel trap on the PTS and take it for a spin. So I think it's pretty exciting because, like I said, it has a bit of a dual nature where you can use it for area denial, or you can use it as a quick response where, let's say, you're behind some cover and you're engaging some enemies, directly in front of you, and then a rusher comes and surprises you on the flank. You can quick deploy this, and it will basically act like I'm trying to think of like an appropriate analog or analogy. What, like those Diablo, the cone, or the Wizards, World of Warcraft, the cone of cold. Cone of cold.
Yeah. Well,
that's what I'm looking for. So it's like a quick deploy, rapid, offensive skill as well.
okay.
We
used to have that with the
behavior.
mobile cover in Division 1 used to have the...
Yeah, that's right.
One of the variants.
Yeah, where it would explode, or you could detonate it, and then it would create like a claymore effect. So that was actually another one of the inspirations for this skill, was the quick deploy would behave kind of like a claymore essentially. So
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat skill.
Very
I think people are going to like it.
All right. I've just Mackenzie, I've turned off your microphone until you have something that you need to say. So just like do a dance when you need to say something. Okay. Now let's talk about the season 3 gear set. Okay. So we've got the Hunter's Fury gear set. Bruce, what can you tell us from a game design perspective of why this is exciting?
This is a pretty exciting gear set because it's probably OP.
Okay.
So I think people can see the bonuses on the screen. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So the 2-piece bonuses are both SMG and shotgun damage because the flavor here or the fantasy or the call to action is this is an up close and personal gear set. This is for people who like to get up in the enemy's grill and go to town. So players of Division 1 might sort of maybe see some sort of alliteration there in the title, Hunter's Fury. So Division 1 had the Hunter's Faith gear set, which was a long-range marksman gear set. Hunter's Fury is the sort of polar opposite. This is
I
a
see
gear
what
set.
you did there.
Sneaky. And then the 3-piece bonus is armor on kill and health on kill. So we really want to give you both the opportunity to get up close and personal, secure a kill, regain any sort of damage you may have taken in the process. But then once you've got a kill, any enemies that are near your victim, as long as they're within 15 meters, right? So when you're within 15 meters of the enemy, we apply a debuff to them. Essentially, think of it as you radiating an aura of menace that demoralizes the enemy, and any enemies that die within your aura then demoralize any of their friends with a disorient, confuse effect, which then
That's cool.
Ideally you use that opportunity to then kill the next nearest victim and so on, and become the apex predator that you are.
Just to clarify, I saw in the description that it says it will increase your damage. So if I'm applying that, I think it was 15 meters, or that debuff to the enemies, they only take the damage, extra damage from me, correct?
It only applies to you. Yeah.
All right,
you are the hunter or huntress, so only you gain that benefit.
Cool. All right, there are some new weapons as well coming in season 3, and these each have named versions, do they not?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't have any examples of this card named version, but do you remember what the talent on the named version of this is?
So the named variant of the card 45 is called the TDI card Custom, which is a bit of a throwback for anyone who's familiar or has played the Ghost Recon. There's a Future Soldier or Future Soldier 2 or one of the Ghost Recons on back in the day. There was this exact pistol, and because this is a sort of prototype technology, we decided to play with that. And so the named version of this gun, it doesn't have a unique talent, or a perfect talent rather, but when using the pistol, as in when you are holding it in your hands, you get +1 skill tier.
Just to clarify, this is not the named version. So
this is the generic version. So the named version of this pistol will give you +1 skill tier. I think people can extrapolate from that the benefit that will provide.
Yep. And
then there's also the other new weapon that's coming with TU11 in season 3 is the 612 shotgun.
Nice.
You have
this
that
one right here.
Yep. This also has a named variant, and the named variants, again, we decided to not go with perfect talents this time, and this shotgun gives you some armor on kills, which is not normally something that's accessible as an attribute on shotguns or any weapons for that matter. So again, I think you might be seeing a pattern here where we're encouraging you to get up close and personal, have some self-sustain in your build in the form of armor on kill and regen and all that stuff to dominate the battlefield.
Nice. Okay. We've got like more to go. I'm loving doing this stream. I have like this whole thing laid out in front of me with all the things I'm yet to show. And we're like we're just getting to the juicy stuff now, so it's cool.
We work on this for months and then we finally get to, show it off. So
yeah. All right. I want to get into some of the exotics that people can expect. Tell us a little bit about the Backfire.
So the Backfire is pretty unique. As you can see, it's a pretty gnarly, spiky, violent-looking thing. And we decided to really lean into that. So what it does is, as you shoot and hit the enemy, you're building up a stack called Payment in Kind, which increases your critical hit damage by 1% per stack and goes all the way up to 200 stacks. So 200% critical damage just from shooting the gun. However, when you reload and you grab that magazine wreathed in barbed wire, you apply a bleed to yourself, and that bleed's damage scales with the number of stacks of critical damage that you have. And I believe it's 0.5% of your total armor per tick of the bleed dot. So with 100 stacks, you're going to lose all of your armor over the course of 10 seconds, the duration of the bleed. And at 200 stacks, you're going to lose, well, twice that. So this thing can kill you. So that's just something that you need to be mindful of. However, with great power comes great responsibility. And we think that the trade-off is worth it, but there's also obviously ways with your gear to either mitigate it so it's not as much of a threat, or to just eliminate the bleed entirely through hazard protection and bleed resistance.
Interesting.
And there's various ways of achieving that.
Yeah, I've just rewound the video just so people can take another peep at that. On reload, apply a 10-second bleed to yourself, which deals 0.5% armor damage per stack.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Love how this looks. This is so cool.
It's a very cool exotic.
What can you tell us about this one?
This one's a bit of a... All right, so the Memento Backpack is interesting because it's interesting for a number of reasons. One of the first reasons that it's interesting is because it doesn't roll with any secondary attributes, but it rolls with 3 cores. So you've got the red core, weapon damage, the blue armor core, and you get a skill tier. And what this backpack does, when you kill an enemy, they drop a trophy on the ground at their feet. When you collect the trophy, you're going to receive 2 buffs. The first buff has a short duration, lasts 10 seconds, but the effect scales with the number of cores that you have on your gear. So if you have a all red build, you'll gain 30% weapon damage when you pick up a trophy. Or if you have an all blue build, you'll gain 100 or 120% bonus armor. And same with skill tiers. You'll gain what's called skill efficiency. Skill efficiency is a new attribute similar to weapon handling in that it does many things at once. So weapon handling increases your accuracy, stability, reload speed, and weapon swap speed. Skill efficiency, 1% skill efficiency is 1% skill damage, skill haste, skill repair, status effects, skill health, and I might be forgetting one. So it's just a big grab bag of all the things that you could possibly want as a skill user. And so really what we're trying to do here is embrace, this is the ultimate hybrid exotic, right?
Segue there.
Nice. What do we got here?
So I'm not going to talk about the gear piece itself, but I was just going to mention that the way to earn this is by getting to the 100th floor of the summit, and you'll unlock a quest. Once you've completed that quest, you'll be able to craft this, if I'm understanding it correctly from what Nikki has told me and what we've seen. So it's you need to really get good at the summit and play that a lot to be able to unlock this one.
Nice. All right. Hey, Bruce, what can you tell us about what this is? You'll also notice that I've chopped off the name of it because on this build, it's actually the wrong name. I don't know.
Yeah,
what
so
it's
this is
called. General Ridgeway
this exotic is called Ridgeways Pride.
Okay.
And the idea here is to once again sort of, as you guys can see, there's a lot of sort of synergy here in terms of the close range, close combat, hunter predator fantasy. So, we thought we would, for players who want to be both offensive but then also have a defensive tool, we created this exotic with the talent called Bleeding Edge, which applies a bleed to any enemy that you shoot with your weapon when they're within 10 meters. So again, this synergizes really well with the new gear set. This synergizes really well with Adrenaline Rush, right? So whenever if you're building a build that's going to operate within the 10 meters or less spectrum, like this is definitely something that you should consider using, because anytime you're within 10 meters of an enemy that's bleeding, you're going to gain armor regen, and it goes quite high. If you've got one bleeding enemy, it's 1% armor regen. If there's two, it's 4%. If there's five, it's 25%?
25%, yeah.
25% armor regen per second. So
I just want to get to the new Bellstone Armory stuff real quick. What can you tell us about this new brand set?
This is a new brand set that's coming with D11 in Season 3. It's a defensive brand set, no surprise. And the bonuses, one piece is 1% armor regen, and then armor on kill, and incoming repairs. So again, this is a brand designed for the more aggressive, up-close and personal player who's looking for, survivability in the way of self-sustain and, more independent, less reliance on a healer or a dedicated healer or, some sort of hybrid therein.
Cool. I see some people already
carrier. So they'll come with two new perfect talents. The chess piece has perfectly efficient. So that's the armor kit refund talent with a 50% chance to not consume your armor kit on use. The perfect version is a 75% chance. And then the other perfect talent is perfect bloodsucker. So it goes from 10% bonus armor on kill to 12%.
Have the Backfire exotic, which we showed some gameplay of a little bit earlier. We also have the Memento exotic backpack, which you can experience on the PTS. I love that the hunter mask is in there as well. It's very much that hunter fantasy, which I'm super into. And then the Ridgeways Pride exotic chess piece, which looks super sick. So I imagine people are going to be getting their hunter like in-game cosplays running, which I'm super into.